Uno, dos, 1, 2, 3, 4. Vandal told Fredo, let's not take a chance.
Oh my god.
We gotta watch SmackDown. Now Del Rio's champ, Wooly Bully. Wooly Bully. Welcome to Walnut Kills, ladies and gentlemen, to the LuchaWorld studio. This is Vandal Drummond, joined as always by the mad scientist engineer who drives a black Lamborghini, and that makes him happy, Alfredo Esparza. How are you tonight, Fredo?
I just want to apologize to all our listeners for your singing.
I want to apologize to myself.
That was probably the worst thing that's been on a podcast of all time. Actually, it isn't. I think we topped it. I think we've done worse.
We probably have, yes.
Slam and Stance.
Do you think they feel bad? How do you think I feel when I'm in the shower singing to myself?
I think Big sang once in Slam and Stance. So
yeah. Oh.
And then there were a few times where you kind of were out of the loop. Remember that?
I'm often out of the loop when we're on Slam and Stan. No, I sing to myself in the shower and it breaks my heart. It just brings no cheer.
I think this holiday season, next holiday season, I'm suggesting we buy you singing lessons.
Hey, I like that.
There you go.
It could be a Kickstarter process.
Yes, Kickstart. Oh, we could kickstart, instead of kickstarting a wrestling promotion, we'll kickstart Kurt Brown's learning how to sing type of an opera. Oh, you could sing opera.
Oh God.
We're off to a fine start.
Can you hear me? Oh yeah. Can you hear me do Il Traviate or something like that? No, I don't think so.
I wonder if they could hear me clicking on web pages.
Email me at Liger, Lyger, at AOL.com if you can hear Fredo clicking. Does he click? Okay, Fredo, there's actually a ton of stuff lucha-wise going on. In
the last weekend there was a lot. Like since Saturday all the way up to Tuesday, there was a lot going on. And then there was some more before that, but
true.
We're not counting back then.
And really kind of started in our hometown area to the show that we did not attend.
Yeah, and I told you, Kurt, I was like, man, we got to go. This is the biggest show of the year. And you were like, come on. None of those guys are going to show up.
Fredo.
And you were wrong.
You will rue the day you said that.
You think a promoter's going to call me and tell me?
Yeah, I think I'll give him your number. The Lucha Mania show at the Sports Arena.
Yeah.
And quite a diverse crew of wrestlers showed up.
We first heard about the show, what, December?
Yes.
Early December or mid-December?
Mid-December.
Somewhere around, yeah. And all it was a poster with everybody on it, basically. Like, you had Hijo Santo, Blue Demon, Rayo, Dr. Wagner Jr., LA Park.
Sombra.
No, not Sombra. Volador Jr., La Mascara. You basically had all these guys. Yes. CMLL, AAA. And this was back during a time when we were all talking about how what's wrong with Lucha Libre. This was the big topic with all the lucha community in Mexico. They were all talking about how there's something wrong with lucha, which I don't really... It's just some sort of, ups and downs happen all the time. But they're talking about how the big solution to everything was that they should all join up and run one big show together. So what do we see? We see this poster and we're like, this ain't going to happen.
Yes.
There's no way this is going to happen. You're not going to get guys from AAA, CMLL, Independence, all joining with Hijo Santo in a show in Los Angeles.
But it
happened. It happened. And everybody that was on that flyer, except the midgets, showed up.
That is impressive.
Which is impressive. It would have been more impressive if Zuki was on the show, but...
True. You can't have...
That is now Zuki's longest streak of not appearing on any wrestling shows that he's promoted on.
Oh, we can't
Very
have
disappointing.
Everything. We can't have everything.
It's disappointing to me.
Yes. And what have you heard about the show in general, as far as match quality, crowd?
Well, the thing is, around that same time, there was Dragon Gate USA.
Yes.
I think they had 2 shows in LA. And I think almost everybody who writes about wrestling or is willing to talk about wrestling went to that show. And everybody that just goes casually to wrestling shows and doesn't really write went to the LuchaMania show,
Right.
because we have very little discussion on the LuchaMania show.
I was actually surprised because several of the Lucha fans in my office, and they're casual wrestling fans, but they all knew about the show. I don't think any of them ended up going to it.
It's in Sports Arena too, so it's like
yeah. It's funny. I remember when the Sports Arena was like the arena, and when Staples Center went up.
When it's a big show, now it's basically A is basically Staples Center. Mm-hmm. I guess B would be Anaheim. I don't know what's called anymore. Yeah. the Duck Center or whatever. And I guess Sports Arena is probably like third or fourth or fifth, maybe even less.
Sports Arena is what the Inglewood Forum was 10 years ago.
Yeah, Forum.
And I'm so old, I remember the Inglewood Forum was called the Fabulous Forum, and like...
Did you know it's so funny that you knew it was called Fabulous Forum, but you didn't know who Kurt Rambis was?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Isn't that kind of funny?
Have we told that story before?
Yes, we've told that story.
Okay, good.
We've told that story a few times.
I don't have to re-humiliate myself.
Yes, you don't have to do... We just have...
Well, you got to understand, the Forum, that's where I saw my very first concert. I saw Queen in 1978, and that's where all the hot concerts were.
I don't think I was crawling back then.
I don't think so either. I don't know, were you sober back then?
I think I was.
You're crawling.
Pretty sure I was sober. Well, basically the show... The only thing that they did... What's seeing the few results that we've seen, what we know is that the CMLL guys all worked in one match together.
Right.
A trios match. And everybody else was a little bit more separate. But we don't know who the opener, because the guy who reported it, mm-hmm. I don't know if it was that bad, or it was guys that he didn't like.
Yes.
Or he just didn't want to mention who it was. We don't know who was there, but the second match was featured the Negro Navarro Solar show,
which I would have dug.
Yeah, which I guess at the end it was so good. Their exchanges were so good that the fans threw money into the into the ring, and they normally get pesos, so they got dollars.
So we had some classic wrestling fans there.
Yeah. So then I can't remember who else was on that match. Here, let me look it up. I think that match had the Piloto Suicida guys and all those guys. The local Profeta was in that match.
Did he team with like Super Porky or somebody?
No, Super Porky was in the CMLL exclusive.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He teamed with Brazo de Oro.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, the day before they had a show in TJ. And the TJ crew was had Santo, Dr. Wagner, Cien Caras, and Rayo. So they kind of already had a group of guys that was coming in.
Now, I'd like to be a fly on the wall anytime Hijo de Santo and Blue Demon are in a dressing room just with all the other wrestlers.
Yeah, somebody told me that they don't get along, and I'm like, yeah, they don't get along. They haven't gotten along for like the longest time. They still work together. They kind of need each other, Who else are they gonna?
Exactly.
You can't wrestle Mascara Sagrada in a sellout building or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that match also had Mortis,
mm-hmm.
the TJ guy who was he's pretty good. He does a Spanish fly and stuff like that. That also had Brazo de Oro. The match was Mortis, Negro Navarro teaming with Profeta, and they beat Brazo de Oro, Piloto Suicida, and Solar.
Cool.
And then the second match had Hijo de Rey Mysterio, the second one, and he was pretty good. He was good. That match is actually almost all of it is on YouTube. Ah. He teamed with Sin Límite. I think he worked the show that you worked.
Yeah, he's local.
Yeah, yes. He was one of the guys in Máscara Sagrada. Who was like 300 pounds. It was so funny because you had that match, and the heels in that match were Dr. Maldab, who's really good.
Yes.
Black Machine, who's Steve Payne, he's good too, and Shamu Jr., who's also
very good.
Yeah, and it was funny because Máscara Sagrada would get in, and the crowd would be like, yeah. But it was like, after a couple of minutes, they'd be like, yeah, come on. bring in one of those skinnier guys. They could do more. Hijo de Rey Mysterio 2 was really good. It's good to see that he didn't, hurt himself during the match.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they had the CMLL match. And that match, basically, I think it ended with a foul, which is a CMLL. Your CMLL formula. Ultimo Guerrero fouled Atlantis. But it was really good. Here's a shocker for that match. The heels were booed, and the baby faces were cheered.
Oh my lord!
CMLL guys. Imagine that. Remember in Arena Mexico, they rarely get...
Okay, now listen. Oh, so we have fans throwing money in the ring, and they're cheering the
Technicos, yeah.
This is like a classic wrestling crowd. They should try to cultivate
They cheered
this.
La Máscara. There was one lady yelling...
Wow.
There was this one lady yelling, "Abrázame, Máscara. Hug me, Máscara." I was just laughing at that. But the video's hilarious. It's all... I think that match is... There's some stuff missing, but the third match is all full. That match is... The semi-main event is partially. And then the main event was Hijo del Santo, LA Park, and Rayo beating Blue Demon Jr., Cien Caras Jr., and Dr. Wagner Jr. A lot of talking in that match. Basically, that was kind of like your... I don't think you ever saw Monterrey like in 2000.
No.
Even though you know me and everything, you could watch that. But basically, it was the same formula that they used there, where basically Hijo del Santo and Blue Demon working, and then LA Park doing his comedy spots, Dr. Wagner Jr. doing his comedy spots. He got into the they brawled into the crowd, and at one point, Dr. Wagner Jr. slaps a guy across the face.
That's what I was.
Yeah, some guy. I guess the guy must have done something to Dr. Wagner Jr. who he didn't appreciate, and he slapped him across the face. And I was laughing because I think if it was LA Park would have knocked him out.
Yeah, exactly. Was the guy John Stossel, maybe?
He was wearing a Santo mask. So everybody started making jokes about it being Santo.
Oh.
But, yeah, that match was a little bit more, But, I mean, it ends with, they threw the match before that, the CMLL guys. Mm-hmm. This was something different. Atlantis grabbed the mic, and he challenged Ultimo Guerrero to what kind of match?
Mask versus mask?
No. A one-on-one match in a steel cage.
Really?
Yes. That's less likely to happen. But it cracked me up because I was like, wow, they didn't discuss a mask match. Pretty interesting.
Well, let's put it on the MPW show.
I guess they probably planned it for LA Park versus Dr. Wagner because they did that.
Right.
They did that. And I was like, oh god, they're not going to do it. But it looked like it was a fun show. If you see the group photo on there, there's a group photo of everybody that was involved.
Mm-hmm. A motley crew there.
Yeah, so you have Blue Panther, you have everybody in there taking a picture. LA Park wearing like a soccer jersey or something.
Rayo de Jalisco Jr.
Rocky's in the picture. That's how I figured out it was Steve Payne because he's actually there.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so it was actually... Oh, and then Platanito got a little bit of offense in the main event. That's another Monterrey trick that they used to do all the time. They'd have the heel ref, or all of a sudden he'd do a babyface spot where he'd pin the heel.
Right.
And then he would do like a dance with LA Park.
He'd fake a dive, and I was in fact, that's a classic Platanito spot. He's done that since I can remember.
It's a Monterrey thing too. So.
Gotcha.
It's really annoying. Yeah, I mean... People have to remember, I watch a lot of lucha, so it's kind of like, it's annoying to me, but it's probably really something you'd really enjoy.
If you're only going...
When you're going live, you're going to enjoy it.
And Platanito always loved bumping around like that. I think Platanito was a frustrated wrestler. Seriously, I mean, he's a great referee. Awesome referee, but I think there's this little bug inside him that says, I wish I could wrestle. So it'd probably be good too if he wrestled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the better wrestlers are just guys because they're big time fans.
Yeah.
You could, like CM Punk, you could tell he's a lot of his wrestling comes from him being a big time fan. Whereas you see like some guy who's like The Miz. We've been going through this whole discussion on Twitter because I watch Raw, and The Miz is so awful. Like his promos and all this shit. He just looks like a wrestler. I think we might have talked about this last time.
I think we talked about it. Didn't we say it looks almost like back in the 80s, if a sitcom did a parody on pro wrestling, that
Miz would be the perfect... that's what he does. That's basically what he does.
It reminds me of things that parodied pro wrestling in the past, but didn't get near the mark.
He's a good wrestler. I mean, when he wrestles, I'm fine with him wrestling. But when he starts talking and when he does other stuff that's wrestling related, it just looks so fake. It looks like fake wrestling. Basically, it looks fake.
Now, down CMLL way.
Well, we should mention before that the show was kind of like I kind of like, just from looking at the attendance from the crowd from the video, it kind of looked like it had about 4,000 people in attendance, maybe less, but I'm guessing there's like 4,000.
So they probably took a healthy bath.
I have no idea, because I think they probably had sponsors or something. Hopefully,
if they had sponsors, they might have done okay.
Well, they're going to continue the tour,
right?
But they changed the name from Lucha Mania to Ídolos del Ring. Their next stop is Chicago in February 17th.
Now, is Rocky Ramon just the local promoter here, or is he the one actually taking the show everywhere?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
But, I mean, it says FMLL, so, I mean, it has to be him.
Okay.
So, yeah, but, I mean, there's, like, a different lineup. For Chicago, I think it's basically Santo, Blue Demon, and Rayo, and I think Atlantis is listed, and a couple of other guys, and Hijo de Rey Mysterio, which I recommend, if you're going to go and you see Rayo and all these guys you maybe don't want to see, go to see Hijo de Rey Mysterio, too. Mm-hmm. He is really good. And the local guys, LA local guys are really good. Then there's the rest of the tour, which is, they only have announced, like, Dallas, Houston, El Paso, Austin, Phoenix, and Denver, and they have that flyer that they had.
Yes,
they have that, but with like a bunch of names on it also. But like different. I think Los Chivos are listed. Like Valiente from CMLL is listed. There's a bunch of good talent on those shows.
Down CMLL way, there is a wrestler who's just debuted, but before he debuted, they changed his name so many times from Thunderbeard to
Thunderbeard.
To Thunder Boy, to Thunder Man, to Thunder Guy, to that guy who has Thunder, to finally they just start.
I think Thunderbeard would have been awesome.
Thunderbeard would have been best.
Thunderbeard as a Viking would have been badass. That is actually a name that Matt Cross could try, one of these days if he decides to stick in Mexico. Thunderbeard. He's got a beard.
I like that.
And didn't he do the Viking gimmick in like Australia or something? One of those Hulk Hogan shows or something?
I never knew that.
Oh my God, Kurt, you don't watch? Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, Matt Cross career.
And Dog 20. Did you watch Tough Enough?
I did see him on Tough Enough.
What'd you think of him?
I wept for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He wasn't very charismatic though, but he really showed it. He shows it in that promo that he does. Did you watch that promo that I posted?
No.
With the beard?
No, I didn't. What was funny is I remember hearing him on Brian Alvarez's show about 5 years back, and he sounded like a very confident,
very nice guy.
Yeah. And so I was shocked on Tough Enough. I don't know. He seemed really intimidated or something. It
might have been the show. It might have been the show itself that just didn't capture his
right.
And then there was that thing where they did that him knowing wrestlers, like he knew CM Punk and all these guys, and people being like, "Wow, he knows all these guys. Why isn't he in WWE?" It's like, yeah, that's not how wrestling works. You gotta you gotta earn your way, or you gotta.
Now this Cat Thunder, as it turns out, is an Australian.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We all thought it was like first we thought it was Chris Masters, then we thought it was Angelico, then we saw his body and thought, hey, it's not Angelico, and then I think we thought it was somebody else, and then it turns out it's an Australian guy, and it's like, now we don't know who the fuck it is.
Now, before we start doing the podcast, we were trying to look for clips of his debut match, which we did not find, but we saw the promo he did where he's touting his laurels, and I totally dug it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up, but the promo...
He probably sucks in the ring, but... Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't know if you've noticed, CMLL has a weird way of, like... The one thing they do well, which is kind of weird, is that big white guys... And I'm saying white guys because, Australian... Yeah. I'm just going to group them all together. Big white guys. Caucasian, whatever you want.
Well, think about it. How many guys have we met through our lifetime who are white guys who says, it says... Oh, that guy's from Guatemala? Oh, what part of Mexico is that, huh?
Yeah, but...
He's Mexican.
Yeah,
it's... So, they're all white guys.
Yeah, they all do...
It's fair.
They do a really good job of just developing these guys and finding ways to, like, use them.
And to get them over, like
yes.
Strongman.
There's an example, Strongman. The only thing is, like, I kind of thought Strongman, they kind of overexposed because there was so much television when he was there. Mm-hmm. So he was on so often that you kind of got tired of him. But, I mean, when he would disappear for a while, come back, it worked.
And he was perfect.
Corleone,
kind of.
Corleone is another guy, but Corleone, the difference is that he kind of draws in women. Like you notice, like when he works a show, you kind of notice the crowd. It's a little different.
John Strongman is like the modern day equivalent to like a Haystack Calhoun. This guy with this big freakish look to him, and they just do most of his TV should be spent him pulling the buses down the street or bending bars.
Well, remember when I was talking about how if we ran like an indie promotion. And we did like a Memphis style thing. That would just basically be all Strongman's thing. Exactly. He would just come in, pulling a bus or something into the arena or something. That would have been awesome.
That would have been great.
Imagine how much money we would have wasted on that.
So we will see. We'll probably see more Thunder in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get to.
I I heard, because I asked one of the guys about him, and I heard he was athletic, so...
Cool.
There's some hope.
There's some hope.
He's huge, though, but...
Rush vacated his title.
Yeah. That was kind of a weird... That was a weird, sudden decision.
And that was right around the time there was a rumor going around that he was going to jump elsewhere.
Wasn't that, like, right before Fantastic Mania, right?
Yes.
Fantastica Mania? Yeah, Steve was the one that... Dr. Lucha was the one that mentioned that.
Was it a AAA jump, or was he...
He said he wasn't sure if it was AAA or New Japan. Mm-hmm. But I get the feeling that if it was New Japan, he probably would have stuck with CMLL some way.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably
wouldn't be a jump, you would think. You'd think because...
Well, maybe if he was offered a year... Because they get a year worth contract.
Yeah.
I would have been fine. Like, if they would have said, we want Rush for a year... If they let us keep Namahagwe for a year, I'm fine with it.
Well, that would be more like a transfer.
That would be like the trade. That would be a nice trade.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Namahagwe is awesome. But, you lose, like, your top technical in CMLL. But, I mean, it's not like CMLL really has a top technical or top heel. You know, they always switch around these guys, like, all over the place.
But, man, I would hang on to Rush something good. I mean, that guy is...
Like, if he jumped to AAA, he would be fucking awesome, you know? Because I think that... Him versus Ali Park. I wrote... this past week, they've been going on this hashtag craze on Twitter. Mm-hmm. You know what they do? Like, they do, like, this... Everybody just writes, like, what they would like to see in wrestling or something like that. And they did this one where it was, like, your dream matches. And my top dream match was Rush versus Ali Park.
Yes.
Just because I think it would be great.
I think it would be great.
Well, he didn't end up jumping, but he did vacate the CMLL World Light Heavyweight title. The reason being that he wanted to concentrate on chasing the heavyweight title.
Right.
I'm guessing they're probably going to build to a heavyweight title match in Dos Leyendas. Mm-hmm. That might be the main event, where I guess Rush would probably win. And I would think Stuka and Namahagwe would be like the undercard. The mass match.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, Stuka.
Definitely.
Stuka's been great, too. They've all been great. Valiente's been badass. And we'll talk about that.
I really dig Valiente.
Yeah. We'll talk about it when we do all the matches stuff, because you had to watch, like, I sat through, like, the Terra show, and, man, the first hour was horrible. But, man, the end result was fucking great. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. So he vacated the title. It ended up being... They held a Torneo Cibernetico, I think last Tuesday. And the final two would end up being the two facing off in the finals, which would be this past Tuesday. And it ended up being Volador Jr. versus Rey Escorpion. And Rey Escorpion won the
Very cool.
CMLL World Light Heavyweight title. Which is great, because he needed I think he earned it. He deserved it.
It's pretty cool. I
feel bummed that I feel bummed because Volador Jr. lost again, but, you know.
But Rey Escorpion is very cool, very charismatic. It's kind of cool because I remember he did the clean job to Diamante Azul a few weeks ago in the Lightning match.
Yeah.
And
Except that German suplex thing, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that simple, but really, I don't know. Diamante Azul is really growing on me. I don't know if anybody else digs him like I do, but
yeah, I think it varies. Some people,
I like him.
Some people hate the fact that he does that move and it looks like he hurts people.
It looks pretty clean to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on the person and how they take it.
Right.
But you should probably pause it.
We're pausing because a train's going by.
I like how I try to stop it and all of a sudden
it won't pause.
It won't? Come on, Kurt, you gotta pause.
We're not pausing. Can you hear the train going by?
We're not pausing? The train. We have trains. We live near a train track.
That's right.
Walnut Kills is near a train track.
Down by the railroad tracks. Down by the railroad tracks.
You didn't pause it?
The birds were singing merrily. This will be our, by the railroad
This is our commercial. This is our break.
That's right. I'm going to sing. Although the train probably sounds a lot more.
Yeah. We could probably talk through the train and it wouldn't matter.
That's right.
We could drown it out.
People just enjoy.
Okay, so what were we talking about?
Just enjoy the ambience of the train, people.
Yeah,
it adds charm.
Just ignore it. You know, if people listen to the Superboy podcast, the show we did with Superboy, I mean that thing had hammering. I think they had like pipes bursting and stuff like that. And I think we were eating like.
I think it adds a folky charm to it. You know what we should do? Okay, we should get some lawn chairs. You know, sit out on the porch of the house here.
Yeah.
At night and smoke pipes and just talk about wrestling and we'll wear jeans too.
You know, I don't know why we even worry about it. Remember Carl Stern? Sometimes he gets like phone those calls on the radio or whatever it is because he's a cop.
Or you heard Conan taking a bong hit.
Yeah, the other day he was eating like chips during the show. I was like, dude, is Conan eating chips?
I love it.
I heard one podcast where this guy was eating a Triscuit. But he's holding the phone. You know how bad that sounds?
Yep.
It's just
and he's probably not even conscious.
Yeah, and then like you hear Phil Schneider, one of the guys on the show. It's like, what the fuck are you doing out there? It's like I was just laughing. That's one of the funniest shit.
Well, speaking of eccentricities and then eccentric people, Ricky Marvin is back in Mexico.
He's not that eccentric.
I always heard that everybody wants to hear a good Ricky Marvin story.
Really?
Yes. I've heard numerous podcasts where somebody says, "Do you have a good Ricky Marvin story for me to another wrestler?" And the wrestler just gets uncomfortable and won't say anything.
Wow,
so
really?
I always want to know.
What podcast is this?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Is it Colt Cabana?
I've heard several times, like, tell us some good Ricky Marvin stories. So
probably because he was in Japan and being the only Mexican over there.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he's back in Mexico. He's still working. I think he's still working in NOAH, but he's not on every tour now.
Right.
Because of the economy. Whatever's going on with NOAH. We got to do like a Perusa. I could do like a Perusa portion of this podcast. Talk about Ric Flair.
That's true.
We talk about Ric Flair and all this NOAH stuff.
That could be a whole episode itself.
Yeah. He's back in. He's teaming with Super Crazy as Los Mexitosos, and they currently hold the GH.
Wait, Los Mocosos?
Mexitosos.
Oh no,
Mexitosos.
Gotcha.
He teams up with. They hold the GHC Junior World Junior Tag Team titles from the NOAH titles.
Okay, GHC.
You're trying to figure out if it's a drug, right?
Oh, I've seen that.
GNC. You're thinking GNC.
We're gonna call Johnny Legend.
It's Global Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
Global Heavyweight Crown. They started defending him. I think they defended him last year, like late November versus Daga and Halloween. And Halloween got hurt. It was a pretty good match until like he got hurt. Then they defended him against. Recently, they defended him against Phoenix and Pesadilla. Not Quesadilla, Pesadilla.
Quesadilla will team with Los Mocosos.
You know what would be cool? Quesadilla and Los Mocosos.
I love it. Oh, they're going to debut against the kayfabe cops.
Yes, incredibly strange wrestling.
Yes.
Quesadilla teaming with Los Mocosos. We could have had Ricardo Rodriguez doing the Quesadilla gimmick. Who would have thought that guy was going to be so big?
That's amazing. I'm so happy for him.
I remember even telling you, like, they should have gotten... Because that was around the time we went to Lucha Vavoom.
Yes.
And I told you they should have gotten the announcer from that show.
Yes.
El Chilaquil.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and I was like... And then... Until
and behold.
Yeah, he ended up being... Because, I mean, he really didn't, like... I didn't really get much out of him when we were at that show. We didn't really see him. But, I mean, it's an incredibly strange
wrestling show.
Yeah, and he's
you know.
Yeah, and he wasn't somebody that was new. He was pretty new to that.
Exactly. I mean, I knew the old crowd like Lester and Supreme.
Willie Mack was great, though. Like, those guys.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Webb, it was good to see, you know.
Eric Watts was good.
I can't believe that was almost 6 years ago.
All those guys. I think Willie Mack and Ricardo are the big alumni of that show. Everybody else has come and gone, I think.
That's true.
I think Craze is retiring.
Craze is going to be retiring.
You're still around, but you're not in WWE or in PWG.
I don't ever plan to be either. I don't think they'd take me even if I wanted.
I think Super Dragon would probably accept your call, but wouldn't. He'd politely say no.
If you would like to sweep the ring, Kurt, you can do that.
He'd probably bring in Stalker Ichikawa to work.
I would. I'd be so proud. I would be the first person to job to Stalker Ichikawa in PWG.
Yeah.
I would be so proud.
Actually, I don't think they use Dragon Gate guys now anymore.
Shame.
That's Dragon Gate USA.
Not going to PWG then anymore.
Oh, come on.
I refuse.
You have to support your local indies.
Okay. I will.
I changed your mind. Oh, well, Ricky Marvin, what else did you want to know? He worked that match with Matt Cross.
Yes.
And who was the other guy in that? Chuck Taylor.
Chuck Taylor, the basketball player.
Chuck Taylor, the shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Chuck Taylor, he works for Chikara and all those PWG.
Oh, okay.
He's all right. He's a known indie guy.
Cool.
You don't know him?
I do not know him, of course.
Yeah, so everybody's like just really happy about Ricky Marvin being back.
Very cool.
Which, I mean, basically, if he's back in Mexico, he's basically a top 10 worker in Mexico. You put him up there with who's Black Terry, Negro Navarro, Negro Casas.
Classic wrestling.
Yeah, all those guys who are up there right now.
Yes.
Mije. Don't laugh at Mije. He's awesome.
I'm not laughing at him.
You're laughing,
I'm laughing with him. This is a feel-good show.
Yes.
We
love Mihei.
This is Up with Luchadores show.
If Mihei could rap, he'd be on the show right now.
Exactly.
If we could get calls, if we could figure out a way to set up where you get calls from Mexico, I think Mihei would be on the show every week.
Ah.
I think Mihei would be an awesome guest.
Will he dance and rap for us?
I don't think he raps. He could do the Gangnam Style dance. So.
The Gangnam Style. Who would rap? Who would rap?
Cranio would probably have to rap.
Cranio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what else? What else did we want to know about?
AAA on Televisa Deportes.
Yeah, today they announced it. That they're going to be on Televisa Deportes. This is different from the Televisa or Galavision. This is the other network in Mexico. This isn't a U.S. thing, but I guess they're trying to just get it out of Televisa Galavision, you know? Because they're always getting shortchanged on that channel with commercials. Basically, everything that happens to CMLL that you watch on Galavision in the U.S. happens to AAA as well in Mexico. Both shows get screwed.
It's so funny. TV seems like such a simple art, like TV wrestling. And Mexico, I don't know.
I think the only difference is that AAA kind of figured out how to like do their show where it doesn't look weird on Galavision. I mean, it still looks edited. Right. There's some editing, but it doesn't look as bad as CMLL show, where it's like CMLL show, all of a sudden you'll have like this 5-minute block of commercial. And like, when does this shit end? You know?
Right.
Like, I remember when I was telling you, I felt like I was watching a safari show. Remember they were doing the safari like television commercials?
No, I remember the rare times something from Mexico would air when I was a kid and that sort of thing. They were very tight, organized TV shows, and it nothing like the wayward.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was watching one of those tapes that you have that you brought over, and I was amazed at the fact that it was so much simpler, the shows, but they were so much enjoyable.
Yeah,
you know? There was so much more
effective. Yeah. There's a lot more passion in the matches. It just worked better.
Who the hell are the Un-Americans?
The Un-Americans or the Young Americans?
The Un-Mexicans.
The Un-Mexicans.
Yeah, apparently there's...
Fredo was seeing something on his laptop computer that...
Yeah, because we were reading about Mexitosos. Ricky Marvin and Super Crazy's tag team. Now, Extreme Tigers challenging them. And I guess there's a team called the Un-Mexicans. Which is kind of interesting. That's a cool name.
That would be cool. That'd be cool.
They look like... I mean... I can't remember who these guys are. I probably know who they are and can't tell you who they are. I've never heard the name. The tag team name. Okay, well, AAA, well, basically they're going to start on that. They're on TVC Deportes, also on Fusion. Their Fusion shows on TVC Deportes. And on the recent Conan show, he mentioned that he's upset at Dave Meltzer and Brian, who he called Alex Marvis.
Poor K.
Yeah. Why? Because they still don't believe that he's going to do this. But like I kind of explained to it, you know, Conan can't get upset about this. This is wrestling. Exactly. We hear so many different stories that, you know, until we see it...
It's true.
We don't believe it until we see it.
You know, in all fairness to Dave and Brian, we've heard AAA is going to be coming to LA over
in the U.S., for like 3-4 years, I think. 3-4 years. Yeah, so it's like now that it might happen... But he says now it might happen. He's moving he's going to start working out of the LA office.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Which should be interesting.
Yes. Very cool. I hope it does happen because it would be.
Maybe we could go get some of his Iranian tobacco. What do you think?
Or bring some to him?
Yes.
I don't know.
I can't. Oh, you probably can.
I might be able to. I might be able to help.
You know, you have sources.
That's right.
I don't work that underground.
Dr. Lucha. No, not Dr. Lucha. It's a different doctor.
Dr. Lucha.
Who's the doctor that... Oh, well, okay.
Dr. Vandal Drummond.
Vandal Drummond
has that prescription.
Well, when will this be...
He said next month.
Okay. Well, when will this podcast be up? Tomorrow?
Probably tomorrow or Saturday.
So this is Friday. So yeah, Dr. Vandal Drummond has a prescription.
We should mention that the show is being done like late night.
That's right. It is being done late night, but for all intents and purposes, it's airing Friday.
Yes.
February 1st. And tomorrow is the 2nd, and there will be a show in Simi Valley. The opening bout, Dr. Vandal Drummond has a prescription that is filled. He will be teaming with Frankie D, and they will be wrestling Whiskey Fists McIntosh and Joshua Dunbar. And I just want to say that Whiskey Fists is a fool. He is a cheap drunk, and I intend to enlighten him.
He's not going to disagree with you.
Yes. But he doesn't see the scowl in my face when I say he's a cheap drunk. I don't say, he's a cheap drunk. No, he must be enlightened. We have surprises for him. The Suburban Cavemen and Frankie D and Vandal Drummond are going to put these guys away in the opening bout, so be there early. Boys Club, Simi Valley.
Plus, Dr. Lucha and I are planning to get our haircuts by Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake will be there too.
Yes, I'm going to ask him to cut a little bit off the side. Hopefully not my ear.
Get a mullet.
I can only imagine. He takes out those big old those head clippers. Oh no.
Whiskey Fists, you're a fool. To paraphrase Saul Rosenberg, you are a wartime military jousting fool.
Oh jeez.
Okay, next. Recent TV that we've seen. Anything that's wowed you or...
Let's see. What did I watch? I watched last week's show, which I thought I think I told you about Fox Deportes airing the CMLL show,
yes.
Right? The first match on that was really good. The rest of the week, that weekend, that Saturday, I wasn't really that into the Saturday. week.
Okay, it was
week, yes. But that match had Namahagwe, Ray, I can't remember who else was on that. Shit, Stuka Jr. I think was in that. But it was really good. I really enjoyed that match.
Stuka Jr., the guy that I know will never be on top, but I always enjoy watching.
I love that guy. That guy's great.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the Sunday show, which, oh god. The first hour of that show on Terra.com. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that was horrible.
Were these just like local opening wrestlers or... established wrestlers who didn't have their working shoes on that night?
Yeah, well, you could say that.
Yeah.
The opening matches for CML, sometimes you get some really shitty matches. Oh, well, they had this guy who's Genesis, this really young guy, just doesn't look like he's ready to be in the ring. It had Oro Jr., who's really good. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem with Oro Jr. Okay, you're watching this match, they have announcers on the show. Have you had a chance to watch the... No. You haven't had it. They have announcers. It's basically like if you're watching the TV show. Mm-hmm. They have the announcers. So Oro Jr. is wrestling. As soon as he gets in the ring, Oro Jr. is the nephew of Oro. Is the nephew of Oro, who passed away, in Arena Coliseo.
Yes.
So imagine you're watching this young guy who's got talent, and all you hear is, here comes Oro Jr., whose uncle passed away in this very ring. So then he does the spot.
Oh my god!
He does the spot where I guess he might have knocked himself out.
Right.
They roll him out instead of like checking on him. They just roll him out. It's your typical lucha thing.
Yeah.
They roll you out. They roll him out, and the announcer's like, Oro Jr.'s rolled out into the same spot that his uncle died. And I'm like, dude, we don't want to hear this. This is like the most depressing thing ever.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so it's like that kind of ruined that. And then Genesis was really bad. The heels were really bad too. Guerrero Negro Jr. and Inquisidor. Mm-hmm. Horrible. It was horrible. Then the second match was the minis match. Bad.
Oh jeez.
The third match was those Tuareg Arcangels group versus like just a random group of Technicos. Yeah, it was alright. Not anything good. The Lightning match was Dark Angel versus Princesa Blanca.
How was that?
That was actually really good.
I would have liked to see
that. Was actually really good. That's when the show picked up. That and the main event were really the difference. Mm-hmm. But that match really picked up. You'll get a kick out of the same semi-main event. I'll go back to the women's match.
Right.
The semi-main event had it had Blue Panther. No, I don't think that was the Blue Panther match. No, Blue Panther was in the... Wow, where was Blue Panther at? Holy shit, where was Blue Panther? That might have been the CMLL show on Galavision. Wow, I can't remember.
Blue Panther was climbing trees outside looking for prey.
No, you know what? I think it was Negro Casas who was biting somebody's foot.
He does this a lot now.
Yeah, he was doing it, right? I think it was him and Averno were taking turns biting somebody's foot.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they were.
Great.
Somebody bit it, and then he just switched it. I think it was that match. I can't remember what match it was.
Well, in fact, very little of the TV I've seen recently was a Peste Negra match, and it was so good to see them again.
Really? Yeah, I can't stand Mr. Niebla.
I dig them.
I just like Zacharias, and I can't watch Felino anymore because every time I watch him, I just remember Ultimo Girl parodying him, like doing the whole like, oh, look at me, I'm dirty. And I just look at Flailino because that's exactly what he does. Immediately when he gets in the ring, that's what he does. Well, that match with Dark Angel and why am I not remembering the? That was weird. I'm thinking I saw the wrong match. Anyways, the lighting match, Princesa Blanca is really good. She carried her, but Dark Angel kind of does the right thing at the right time.
Yes.
So it just works really well. Yeah,
Princesa Blanca is one of my faves of the ladies there. She really rocks.
Yeah. The semi-main event was okay, and there's for some reason I'm just drawing a blank on that.
Now
you know what I remember they ripped their mask off. They ripped their mask off and it ended like really abruptly. Mm-hmm. Like it just like they ripped as they're starting the third fall, they remove Garo Maya Jr.'s mask.
Oh, trip!
And as soon as that happens, the ref just accused him. So it just ended really. So I just remember that all of a sudden that just ends and it just really like fell apart. But the main event was really like Valiente. The very end of it was Valiente. They took out Rey Escorpion from the match, so it was Valiente, and the other two guys were out. So Valiente was in there with Pulvera and Dragon Rojo Jr.
Nice.
He does his spot where the front cracker. Mm-hmm. His spot is it's kind of like a front cracker type of thing, and he does it to both of them. Dragon Rojo Jr. pins him, and then he pins Pulvera too.
Oh, cool.
But it was just like this real fast thing where he just like, fuck, like just pins him. It's really badass.
Cool.
That was good. What did you watch this weekend?
I didn't watch.
You didn't watch anything.
Yeah, I always say.
But let's do this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
This angers me.
Like I said, I saw the Brillante Azul light match with Rey Escorpion, which I dug. I watched little bits and pieces of recent IWRG, and what caught my eye, this is going to sound silly, but tournament match between Hijo de Canek and Ultraman Jr. Short match, but I have never seen somebody who looks so uninspired than Hijo de Canek.
Yeah, that's basically...
It's
that's
funny.
Canek.
Ultraman Jr., who I know nothing about, looked really good in those few minutes. And Hijo de Canek looked okay when he was selling for him, but when he had offense, he just looked like, I want to go home.
That's Hijo de Canek for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, because I know he's been around for a while.
Yeah, there's certain guys. Hijo de Anibal, him, they're just like,
why are they doing it?
They're really just bad. Well, they probably get paid well just for being hijos.
Wow.
But it's like then you watch the other guys in the IWRG like Dynamic Black, Allen Extreme, Avisman, Oficiales. You see all these other guys busting their asses, but you end up watching the one match that you probably wish you didn't watch.
The Oficiales is the best kept secret in wrestling. It's one of the greatest gimmicks there. It's like I know this is a before your time reference, but whenever I see them...
Oh no, not before my time.
Before your time. Ricky Itaki would appreciate this. Whenever I see them, I think of the Gargoyle Gang and Johnny Sacco and his flying robot, and these guys are just... IWRG, I think, is such a great alternative if you kind of want to see something different from the usual AAA and CMLL.
Yeah, because they also get a little more time.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like they get more time. It's kind of like your indie show, like an indie show. It's basically an indie show. They just give them a little more time.
Now,
except they do a lot of more traditional wrestling.
Exactly, and you know me. I'm getting old, so I like seeing old school traditional wrestling. Yeah. That's my thing. But you told me that there was a recent match with the Oficiales and the Piratas.
Yeah, they had Oficiales and the mini officials teaming together versus the Piratas, and then they brought in the mini Piratas.
Oh, man.
Which I'm sure must have been great.
Now, I'm hoping this is going to be on the internet, because I
trying to figure out if
even though it'll be dated, I want us to review the match on the next show. I want us both to watch it and review it. I saw the picture of Oficiales that's been making the rounds on LuchaWorld and Facebook, and these guys are just cool.
Yeah, they have, and one of them was wearing a mask for that picture too. The one that dropped it,
yes.
Piero. Let me look for because I think it was Piratita Morgan that was in that match too.
Now, the ones who dropped the masks, were they dropping the masks in pretty rapid fashion? Because that's something I think...
It took a while, because I think there were guys who were predicting they would drop the mask like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's been I think...
Good. That's
let's
good.
see, AK-47 dropped it last December, I think. Last December? Not this past, but 2011. And then the other one dropped it in November, December, somewhere around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been recent. They're doing it like a year thing. I guess 911's turn is next.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
The first time I ever saw them was when they had that one shot in AAA.
Yeah.
And they did the job. Who was it with Gato Eveready? And I'm blanking on the other two, but I remember I just absolutely loved them.
I love this picture of Oficiales. AK-47. I love his pose. That he has his arm like to the side, and he's just like doing like this, like look at me. Oh. He's like a
Since
chiropractor.
our listeners can't see this, I ask that you
go on the LuchaWorld page.
Or how about put this photo up when you plug?
Yeah, I'll put it. That'll be the picture.
This will be the,
and then there's the Piratas in the bottom.
I love it.
That'll be the picture that we'll use for the podcast.
Definitely, because that's...
I haven't used it.
These guys are so cool.
And you know what's so great is Black Terry Jr. Takes so many pictures. I mean, we gotta... That's the great thing about Lucha. As somebody who also follows Japanese wrestling, we should be thankful for having Black Terry Jr. and Alexis Salazar, because they take so many great pictures of Lucha. I mean, I look for Japanese wrestling, you can barely find pictures for anything.
Really?
You find some stuff, but it's really hard to find.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
Well,
the big shows always get them, but I mean, Black Terry Jr. takes pictures of like Quaha, whatever that place, that like the smallest places, like Arena Lopez Mateos, Coacalco. He takes pictures in Coacalco, different places.
Oh, good. To be honest, I'd rather see wrestling at those little places than Arena Mexico.
You say that, you say that, but when you go, you're probably like, oh my god, are we gonna get kidnapped?
Who's gonna kidnap us?
Well, not me. I'm Mexican.
Yeah, that's
they kidnap
true.
you. You're a gringo. They wouldn't kidnap me. I'd be like,
Princesa Blanca kidnap me?
You wish.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
I wrote on Twitter, I guess we'll be perving out about Princesa Blanca and Sarah Stock again.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't even know Sarah Stock was 33 years old. She's
really?
Yeah. Well, she's been around for a while too, so.
True.
Yeah.
Now,
yes, I Google searched her. No, it's on the Lucha Wiki.
Just as long as you Google searched her but didn't write like a Sarah Stock, a Desnuda, or anything like that.
No, she's on Lucha Wiki. Somebody was like, I was looking for something for because she worked in Japan, and I had to figure out what her move was, her finisher or something. And since I'm horrible at finishers, I use the Lucha Wiki for that.
Don't feel bad, I am too.
I go on Lucha Wiki and I can't find any information on that.
I mean, to me, the only great hold in the world is La Cavernaria.
Well, look at Valiente's move. I couldn't tell you. Well, I know the Valiente special, and then everything else is basically like I just use the old terms and stuff like that. What were you thinking?
I was thinking about
You were thinking about.
I was thinking about Negro Casas biting the guy's foot again. I thought about how, I do that move because, it was Cavernario Galindo's move, and
I'm guessing that's why they do it too.
Yeah, and when I one of the photos of me biting somebody's boot made it onto was on Facebook. Tom Hankins says, "All right, the old Bull Curry move." I guess Bull Curry used to chew on people's boots too.
It's actually a very popular move amongst.
And it dawned on me. If I could time travel, would Cavernario Galindo and Bull Curry be the most bitchin' tag team in the world, or what?
You know what you got to do is you got to create a page where you're, you know how you have that airplane spin the
airplane
album?
Spinning page, yes.
Yes, you should do one where you're biting people's feet.
Yes, okay, that's going to be my next album.
I can only imagine.
I love it.
Your face, your lips start coming out like, what's wrong with this? What is this? What is this on my face? You got sores on your face. What is that?
Well, before we wind this up, we want to say how we were grinning from ear to ear because Luchadores had a pretty good presence in the Wrestling Observer Reader Awards, including IWRG TV placed.
Yeah, IWRG TV placed for Best TV or something. No, it wasn't that. No, Best Promotion. Best Promotion. They played. Well, they did place in Best TV also, but for Best Promotion they were 8th, Best TV and 11th.
I'm glad people are watching them.
Yeah.
You know, because whenever I take a look at it, I'm saying, who's watching this? But
that used to piss me off because I used to tell people watch it back in 2000 when it was actually really good. You had Hijo Santo versus Dr. Cerebro.
Yes.
Back when there was the Megas getting tope'd into the crowd by Freelance and all these other.
Yes, I remember you.
Mike Segura. Remember I used to tell you about Suicida and all these guys.
And you showed me some of those.
Yeah,
too.
I remember telling you.
I really dug
and you're like,
them.
"Well, this is good," and then you're like, "I'm not going to watch it anymore." No, it was really good. That AAA placed in both also. CMLL placed higher in Best TV also, and also Worst TV.
That's interesting how...
well, see, I think the problem with the Observer Awards is Meltzer doesn't differentiate.
There's a lot of CMLL
and there's a lot of CMLL shows. And really, if you rank the CMLL shows, there's one that's good. The Cadena Tres show is really good. Mm-hmm. And then I would guess probably the Fox show is really good. I mean, depending on what they get, it's really good. But then Galavision, the commercials just kill it. Totally. And then the 52MX show is basically the Sunday show. And that can be really good.
Or really bad.
And then a lot of people don't watch it because it's basically
not consistent.
You can watch it on Terra.com. So most of us probably forget it. Or you can rewatch it on 52MX, but I think only one person has that channel. Thankfully, it's somebody who actually posts on to YouTube, which is great. But then you have all these, and then you have Guadalajara, Puebla. You have so many different CMLL shows. AAA has 2 now, so that's going to be a bit of a confusion. They have 3 actually. Actually 4 now with the Televisa Deportes shows. There's actually 4. But 2 or 3 of them are the same thing, so. And then IWRG is basically...
And I love IWRG TV. It's like classic wrestling TV. When wrestling wasn't done in all the big arenas. You know me, I'm a sucker for ambience. I just love the.
I love when they go into and brawl into the crowd.
Yes.
You know what's funny? That I'm surprised IWRG. I don't remember. I mean, it might have, but in 2010 or 2011, I think it was on television, wasn't it? Here locally.
Yes, it was.
Yes. It wasn't a good TV show, but it added more stuff to it.
Right.
Yeah. So it was actually something very interesting. Oh, Kurt's checking his messages.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I'm doing that.
Kurt just got a message from Hulk Hogan asking him to wrestle. Oh, he just got a text message from Hogan showing him Brooke Hogan's legs.
No, that's so creepy. Oh. I can't even hear the name Hogan without getting creeped out.
She has nice legs, though. I mean, come on.
Still creepy when he's...
Creepy as hell.